I have everybody's attention? We can get started here today. Thank you all for coming out here today. Our opening day ceremonies. My name is Troy Gilbert. I'm the Vice President of the Exeter Junior Baseball League. And we're going to jump right into getting the kids out here. This will take probably 20-25 minutes to get all the kids lined up. Be a lot of clapping, but once it's done, then we'll kind of move into the other stuff. So, what we're going to do here is start with our rookie league. And to announce the rosters for our rookie league, we have Rick LaFleur, who is our rookie league coordinator. Big hand for Rick.
Thank you. All right, good morning, everybody. We have a lot of very excited 7 and 8 year olds, so let's get right to it. The first rookie league team to introduce the Durham Bulls, coached by Steve Gregoire and Steve Kavanaugh. Our Durham Bulls, Harry Chabot, Max Deneen, Brendan Gregoire, Jalen Camineni, George Kavanaugh, Tyler Penny, Jack McDonald, Luke McDonald, Evan Wiggy, and Desmond Rugg. Our next team, the Lakewood Blue Claws, coached by Gary Tuttle, Dave Wheeler, and John Ruiz. Good hustle, coaches. Our players, Jack Bove, Thomas Gilbert, Ronan McDonald, William McKinnon, Ethan Moss, Aiden Peridot, Aiden Grubchuk, Joaquin Ruiz, Owen Warner, and Christian Wheeler. Our next team, the Trenton Thunder, coached by Alex Simpson, Tom Simpson, and Josh Bardwell. And our players, Nathan Bardwell, Jacob Bardwell, Edith, I don't want to play softball, I want to play baseball Crawford, Tyler Graney, Zachary Grimm, Evan Louis, Andrew Petit, Avery Scher, William Simpson, and Garrett Taylor. The Portland Sea Dogs, coached by Rick LaFleur, Mike DC, and Chris Rogers. Our players, Shay LaFleur, Brody Gullison, Sam Pangan, Brady Rogers, Reed Powley, Alexander Goulet, Matt Wallace, Joshua Puzzle, Dylan Drunzik, and Nolan Deasy. Great job, guys. Let's have a great season.
Thank you, Rick. All right, there is our rookie league this year. All right, now we're going to jump right into our single A teams. We're going to start off with the Cleveland Indians. Head coach Sean Rusin and assistant coaches Kevin Kevedy and Tim Kerber. Players, Gabriel Bean, Ryan Graney, Oliver Hemingway, Cameron Keaveney, Travis Kerber, Michael Kessler, Andy Messier, Simon Potter, Trey Rogers, Carter Rusin, Aiden Welch, and Skylar West. And now the Philadelphia Phillies. Head coach Jeff Morgado, assistant coaches Chappie Cox, Timothy Johnson, and Derek Yeager. Casey Bergeron, Brett Cox, Matthew Cronin, Aiden Fong, Timmy Johnson, Zachary Lamunde, Ryan Morgado, Sophie Slifka, Connor Slifka, Cameron Steve, William Wood, and Derek Yeager. Texas Rangers. Head coach Gino Pico, with assistant coaches Leo Godin and William Russo. John Bennett, Chris Palella, Ian Deaver, Aiden Duffin, Matthew Forsythe, Owen Grace, Andrew LaFoe, Edward McCaughey, Gino Pico, William Russo, Richard Strong, and Dominic Thornhill. And now the Tampa Bay Rays, head coached by Jonathan Young, with Jim Roach and Wayne Young. The players Sidney Cole, Devin Cool, Matthew Deshane, Colton Dessel, Charles Gaughan, Shay Hagan, Charlie Knight, Jacob Lulick, Colin Roche, Colby Whiteside, Remy Young, and Brady Young. And now we move on to the Detroit Tigers with head coach Chris Rogers and assistant coaches Chris Hutchins, Sean Gilmartin, Mark Babine, and George Young. A lot of coaches. Nick Babine, Ethan Berg, Liam Casey, Ryan Garrity, Jackson Gilmartin, Ryan Hutchins, Jaden McGanty, Colby Merrick, Reese Rogers, Mason Rogers, Max Smith, and George Young IV. Next, we have the Minnesota Twins, the head coach Mike Lanigra, and assistant coaches Rob Tuttle and Mark DeTore. Players Charlie Abbott, Michael DeTore, Parker Douglas, William Dulac, Quinn Lanigra, Gavin Marlowe, Zachary McConnell, Tegan Peters, Sebastian Rebel, Blake Simpson, Ian Subrennan, and Matthew Tuttle. There you go, there's our single A team this year. All right, now we're going to move on to our AA League, and to announce the rosters is Mr. Jay Sweat, who is the AA League coordinator. Thank you.
All right, the first teams for AA to be announced today are the St. Louis Cardinals. We're going to announce players first and the coaches. First player, Charlie Boyle. Ryan Doherty. Samuel Gauthier. Damon Grace. Chase Leclerc. Parker Lendrum. Ian Millay, Aiden McGinley, Connor McGinley, Alex McKitchian, and Nicholas Pangan. The Cardinals will be coached this year by head coach Peter Lendrum and his two assistant coaches, actually three, Dennis Boyle, Rich Doherty, and Tony Leclerc. Next team up for AA is the Diamondbacks. First player is Stephen Black. Nicholas Catania. Joshua Denman. Jack Dumaresque. Ethan Albrecht. Nick Gary. Hunter Lord. Joshua Norman. Michael Sakakia. Matthew Whistler, and Aiden Young. Cardinals are coached by head coach Eric Norman, assistant coaches Paul Young, Mike Whistler, and Mike Dumaresque. Next team is the Orioles. Orioles are led off by Keller Copeland. Roger Davis, Quinn Dubé, Andrew Hodgson, Alex Johnson, Zachary Rothman, Dylan Shapiro, Zachary Varney, Liam Walsh, Kate Liddy, and Connor Wiskiel. Oh, I'm sorry. Coaches, head coach Eric Rothman, assistant coaches Rick Davis and Derek Weiskell. Next up are the San Diego Padres. Leading off for them, Jason Bickford, Nolan Bleakley, Andrew Bennell, Benjamin Ehrlich, Andrew Caputa, Alex Knight, Cole Peridot, David Reed, Sebastian Robles, Nate Ross, and Aaron Scher. The Padres are coached by head coach Scott Bleakley and assistant coach Eric Reed. Next team, Boston Red Sox. Leading off for them, Luke Campbell, Andrew Serrato, Zachary Ferris, Jacob Gibbons, Caleb Johnson, Nathaniel Layton, Tyler McIntyre, Johnny Meyer, Samuel Pease, Abraham Pease, and Jackson Ronick. Red Sox are coached by head coach Mark Layton, Tim Ferris, and Bill Pease are the assistants. Finally, Colorado Rockies, Connor Allard, Gavin Bond, Caden Brackett, Ethan Crawford, Cole Gullison, Andrew Hanna, Zachary Ingham, Brady LaFleur, Graham Lanidra, Harrison Ward, and Nicholas Wheeler. Rockies coaches are head coach Ed Gullison, assisted by Rick LaFleur, Tim Bond, and David Allard. And those, ladies and gentlemen, are your AA teams. 2014.
Thank you, Jay. Guys, we can get all the teams to kind of switch in a little bit because we got a lot more still to come. We're going to need the room, okay, guys? Maybe a little bit more? Okay. All right, next up we have our AAA teams, and to announce them is our AAA League Coordinator, Keith Palmer.
All right, we'll start out with the Anaheim Angels. J.C. Beeson, Nick Beebe, Jonathan Bennell, Dan Doris, Jay Paul, Spencer Holcomb, Tyler Holmes, Evan Hughes, Max Smith, Justin Tateman, Brendan Thomas, Oscar Weed. And the coaches, head coach Joel Beeson, assistant coaches Chris Beebe and Jesse Smith. Next up is the Open Athletics. Cody Bean, Seth Crampsey, Shane Fahey, Jared Haney, Robert Caputa, Jack Contanaris, Brian LaFoe, Brady Ludwig, Griffin May, Ariel Staber, Zachary Terriol, and the head coaches, Randy Currier, assistant coach, Lonnie Crampsey and Keith Ludwig. LA Dodgers, Jack Anderson, Ben Antonellis, Brody Bellevue, Hunter Colella, Sam Crisp, Ulysses Ellis, Carter Floyd, Jason Jones, Anthony Lutane, Alex Marcoux, Kevin Terwillinger, and John Irwin. Head coach Brian White, assistant coaches Greg Maxwell and Steve Floyd. Next up is the KC Royals. Eli Bourne, Caleb Craig, Ben Danielson, Colby DeVoe, Tanner Kenny, Matt Matuzis, Jack Fall, Kevin Scott, Colby Sherwin, Will Shupe, Alexander Smith, and Jacob Whitman. Head coach is Mark Craig. Assistant coaches Glenn Patton, Bill Shupe, and David Smith. Next up is the Chicago White Sox. Ben Serrato, Jake Cleveland, Sean Foley, Will Grenier, Aiden Quinn, Riley Quinn, Owen Sheen, Gavin Chiliday, Clemens Streck, Edward Polson, Ryan Villieu, Sean Worthing. Co-coaches, John Clowin, Jared Sheehan, assistant coach John Foley. Those are your AAA teams for 2014.
Thank you, Keith. All right, there's our AAA teams. Now, boys, we got to switch in more because we got 16 more teams still to come, all right? We got to put them somewhere. All right, next up we have our Major League rosters here. We're going to start out with the Toronto Blue Jays. Head coach Mark Constance and assistant coaches George Cross, Rick Davis, and Eric Farrar. Carter Bosman, Caleb Constance, Nolan Cross, Richard Davis, Kyle DeDam, Derek Edmiston, Logan Farrar, Robbie Labonte, Alec Lowry, Costa Moklis, and Meridius Bendel. Next up, the Atlanta Braves. Head coach Brett Elmore. Assistant coaches Phil Putney and Scott Center. The players, Ryan Caggiano, Logan Elmore, Nolan Elmore, Tyler Gilbert, Colin Jackson, Cy LeClaire, Ryan Matson, Ryan Putney, Luke Center, Benjamin Wheeler, and Owen Whitting. Next up, the Chicago Cubs. Head coach Ethan Shapiro. And assistant coaches Brad Poole, John Cabot, and Dave Morissette. Players, Tristan Caro, William Coogan, William Gaughan, Anthony Janelli, Trevor McGaughy, Joshua Morissette, Silas Pierce, Darren Poole, Adam Reed, Daniel Sarmiento, and Jacob Shapiro. Next up, the Miami Marlins. Head coach Brian Wall. Assistant coaches Jacob Burge and Marty Poulin. Players Tyler Burke, Thomas Daly, Joshua Driscoll, Diego Garcia, Jake Kingsbury, Michael Leonard, Michael Poulin, Tristan Tebow, Andrew Burge, Brian Wall, and Jack Williams. almost there, boys. Almost there. Next up, the Pittsburgh Pirates. Head coach Bob Stevens. Assistant coaches Paul Bimbo and Jeff Beal. Players Duncan Beal, Tanner Casey, Matthew Katoya, Kyle Katoya, Ethan Bimbo, Daniel Colifrath, Teddy Motts, Richard Nichols, John Riggy, Michael Rollick, and Joel Stevens. And the last Major League team is the Cincinnati Reds. Head coach Todd Gibbons, assistant coaches Matt Smith and Roland Gilmet. The players Jackson Gibbons, Owen Gilmet, Chase Johnson, Sam Kim, Andrew Letourneau, Sam Lulick, Gavin Moss, Dante Ranagonda, Ryan Smith, Jeremiah Swift, and Zachary Tucker. Over there, buddy. Over there, buddy. Over there. Okay, walk, no walk. All right, there's your Major League teams for this year. Next up, we have our softball teams. And to introduce those rosters, we have Don Paul, who is our softball coordinator.
Thanks, Troy. All right, we're getting ready for another good year of softball here in Exeter. It's our third year. And starting off with our first and second grade, the cutest kids in the whole program. The first and second grade Yellow Jackets, coached by Chris Crawford, Bill Shoup, Jerry Starrett, Pam Garrett, and Chris Magnola. And on the team we have Lauren Chapman, Edith Crawford, Ava Garrity, Sydney Hathaway, Kaylee Leonard, Madeline Page, Madison Sanborn, Grace Sarmiento, Olivia Serra, Julia Shoup, Hannah Sterrett, Tegan T-Birds, and Sarah Thornhill. And our third and fifth grade teams, leading off with the Hurricanes, we have Coach Hope and Matt Orcutt, and Gabriella Crombie, Mackenzie Ducharme, Alexa Lamonde, Anna Laudico, Chloe Oliver, Riley Orcutt, Alex Patton, Sydney Perkins, Claire Peralt, Charlotte Scow, and Sydney Warren. For the Owls, we have Coach Bryn Shoup, Lindsay Shoup, Julia Jones, Jenna Jones, Carson Labonte, Kate Watts, Emma Ford, Isabel Reyes, Michaela Sanborn, Sabrina Sherman, Madison Small, and Lily Stanley. For the Rams, head coach Teresa Pendel, assistant coaches Dave Pendel and Rick Sawyer. We have Lindsay Burke, Amanda Cook, Chloe Carriage, Tess Contanaris, Alex Pendel, Effie Pendel, Olivia Redding, Elizabeth Sawyer, Abigail Singlar, and Emma Vanderwood. Right, for the Razorbacks, head coach Deb Duran, assistant coaches Jeff Duran, Kristen Keenan, Tim Keenan, and players Avery Duran, Maren Duran, Tegan Hayward, Rebecca Hicks, Catherine Hicks, Grace Keenan, Sarah Long, Avery Lord, Rachel Ludwig, Lydia Murray, and Anna Whitney. For the Yellow Jackets, we have head coach Ken Smaldo, assistant Heather Shields, Players Jalen Greeley, Brooke Holmes, Madeline Cady, Audrey Malila, Gretchen Morris, Kaylee Perkins, Alexandra Singh, Annie Smaldone, Greta Stevens, Lydia Trahan, and Samantha Morrison. All right, our U14 teams. Head coach Keith Conrad, assistant coach Kelly Conrad, Kaylee Campfield, Lindsay Gleason, Alyssa Conrad, Katie Kopecki, Haley Long, Addie Meehan, Olivia Morris, Emily Perry, Sarah Perry, Caitlin Regan, and Trinity Young. For the Rams, we have head coach Jenny Small, assistant coaches Jeff Johnson and Steve Shaw. We have Caitlin Batchelder, Avery Bleakley, Denise Balbala, Laura Braco, Lillian Chase, Anna Craig, Alyssa Florence, Sydney Johnson, Kyra Lassapal, Mariah Sanborn, Michaela Shaw, and Carissa Colston. For the Razorbacks, head coach Steve Singlar, assistant coaches Dave McKay, Mark Parker, and Elizabeth Gullett. Players Ingrid Burial, Emma Serrato, Elena Chichester, Lily Cochran, Megan Cross, Abigail Gullick, Megan McKay, Emily Michaud, Morgan Murphy, Sarah Shoup, and Caroline Singlar. And last but not least, the Yellow Jackets, head coach Tim Conti, assistant coaches Jen Conti, Bill Conti, and Scott Irwick. Players Kelly Anderson, Marissa Catania, Emma Chisholm, Brittany Conti, Alex Head, Sarah Peel, Christina Scala, Grace Sullivan, Heather Irwick, Jenny Ross.
There you have it. There's our teams for this year. Point in sight. All right. Now we can move on to the rest of the ceremony. Hoping to get out of here by 10. What we're going to have next is we're going to do the national anthem. And to perform that, we have Devin Bleakley. Everybody can please rise and remove your hats.
Can you see by the dawn's early light, we're so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs were singing air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the
Terrific job, Devin. Thank you. All right, we'd like to start off the ceremony by recognizing two of the All-Star teams from last summer. that won state championships. We're going to call them up, well, we're going to call one of them up right now, along with their coaches, just to, so we can get a picture of all the kids together. We're going to look at, right now, first we're going to do the 2013 New Hampshire Cal Ripken 11-year-old 70-foot district and state champions. The coaches, Brett Elmore, Jeff Jackson, and Scott Bleakley. You guys should come up. And players, Duncan Beal, Richard Davis, Nolan Elmore, Jackson Gibbons, Ethan and Bimbo, Colin Jackson, Alec Lowry, Michael Leonard, Ryan Putney, Joel Stevens, Jeremiah Sweat, and Zachary Tucker. Great job, guys. There was another team last year that also won a state championship. That was last year's 12-year-old 70-foot team. They're not here because they've all moved on out of the league. I just want to kind of read their names. The coaches were Nat Hawkins, Mark Layton. Mark's still around somewhere, right? Greg Burns. And the players were Josh Berthel. Where's Joshy? Mike Cilia, John Hawkins, Davis Layton, Harrison Lendrum, Jonathan Lendrum. Sorry, gotta turn the page. Tom Polhemus, Max and Will Reynolds, Sam Rawlick, Jake Ross, and Robbie Wortman. That was another team that went on to represent us in New England, just like that last team did as well. This summer, our league, we will be hosting the Cal Ripken 10-year-old New England Regional Tournament in July at the Sawyer Field complex there in Kensington. It's the first time we've ever hosted a regional tournament. It's a big deal for us. We'll have more information about that on the website as we get closer. That'll be in July. At this point, I would like to point out all the folks who are part of the board and worked so hard at running this league, just to kind of give them all some recognition. Dave Morissette, who is our president, right there. Lee Rawlick, who's our treasurer, our secretary. Where's Lee? Right there. Ed Gullison, who's our treasurer. Right there. Brian Hoyt, who's our equipment manager and our umpire-in-chief. Matt Smith, who's our facilities manager, right there. Lorraine Christ, who's our registrar. Lorraine couldn't be here today. Todd Gibbons, who's our uniform coordinator, right there. Bob Stevens, who's our scheduler, right there. Doug Linehan, who's our snack shack coordinator, that's not here today either. Paul and Bimbo, who's our tournament director, right over there. Brett Elmore, who's our sponsors coordinator, right there. Chris Crawford, who is our fundraising coordinator. Where's Chris? Where's Chris? There he is. Brian Wall, who's our publicity coordinator. Where's Brian? Brian's over there. Rick LaFleur, who's our rookie league coordinator. Where's Rick? Right over there. Donnie Pearl, who's our softball coordinator. Where's Donnie go? Where is he? He's around there somewhere. And Bruce Fielding, who's our Babe Ruth coordinator. Bruce is in here. These are the folks that make up the board of directors and run the league, okay? Okay, now, we would like to move on to, every year we give out what's called the Meritorious Service Award, or awards. These are people or entities that we feel have helped out the league in the past and deserve to be recognized. The first one is going out to a man named Tim Anderson, who's a former president of the league. He's a dedicated coach and a strong leader. He presided over the most fundamental change in the history of this league. Was when we changed from a league where the players from age 9 to 12 all played in one league to a league where the 9 and 10-year-olds played against each other and the 11 and 12-year-olds played against each other. Tim's leadership as president was a major factor in the process, and we are very appreciative of this effort. and the work needed to make it happen. And we wanted to thank Tim for his dedication. And I'm not sure if he's here yet today, though. Tim, if you are, could you come up? If not, then, yep, there he's right there, good. Woo! The next award that we're going to give is to an organization. It's Unitil. This is an organization that's committed to their customers and local communities. The generosity to give back to the local communities is driven by their desire to help develop our communities into good places to work and live. Last summer, the Unitil Corporation reinvested a piece of their property to help us revitalize a long-lost field. The field is located on their property adjacent to their building on Drinkwater Road. We broke ground last fall and have completed the infield, but we still have much work to do on the field. It's not going to be ready for this year. But with their help, we will have a new field ready for play in 2015. Yeah, it's a big deal for us. None of this would have been possible without the generosity of Unitil Corporation. And accepting the award on behalf of the company is John Davis. But I also want to mention Bob Connor, Jason Kearns, John Folland, and Scott Wade, who have also been involved. We have one more award to give out. The next award is being given to someone who's been involved with this league for many years. He and I actually joined the board at the same time about 8 years ago when our oldest sons were just in the rookie league. He's been involved with many projects over the years as our former facilities coordinator and has been a coach and still contributes his wisdom at our monthly EJBL board meetings. He and his wife Lisa have driven all over New England watching their boys represent EJBL in postseason play. Many of you may recognize him as the guy who sometimes brings his guitar to the field and plays as he watches his boys play. He has proven his devotion to our league time and time again, and I know he will showcase this award somewhere prominent in his home. Jay Sweat. Nobody deserves it more than Jack. Okay. Where's my... also, one more person I'd like to send a special thank you is Ed Gullison. Every year, he gives a great deal of his time and effort in embroidering the names and numbers into all the kids' hats. And he takes the money that all the parents and the teams collect for that, and he donates it right back to the league. So I'd just like to recognize Ed for doing that again for us this year. Kids love it, we love it. About 5 years ago, some parents in the league, Lisa and Mark Cochran, came to the board with the idea of creating a sportsmanship award to be given to one player from every team. We thought this was a terrific idea, actually. We kind of have run with it since then. And in 2009, the EJBL recognized the first recipients of our Sportsmanship Award. Each year, the coaches select one player from each team who best demonstrates sportsmanship qualities such as leadership, self-control, courage, persistence, being graceful winners and losers, and showing respect for coaches, teammates, opponents, and umpires. At the end of every season, we announce these winners at our closing ceremonies during Championship Day. And I'd like now just to read the list of last year's winners. From the Angels, Will Grenier. From the Athletics, Luke Center. From the Blue Jays, Colin LeBute. From the Braves, Adam Reed. From the Cardinals, Will Coogan. From the Cubs, Blake Richards. From the Diamondbacks, Costa Moklis. From the Dodgers, Ben Antonellis. From the Giants, Noah Stevens. From the Indians, Charlie Engler. From the Marlins, Matt Pangan. From the Orioles, Tyler Burke. From the Padres, Alex Mulkegian. From the Phillies, Parker Douglas. From the Pirates, Ryan Lipset. The Rangers, Tanner Kenny. From the Rays, Ian Deaver. From the Red Sox, Josh Denman. From the Reds, Jack Losman. From the Rockies, Tyler Gilbert. From the Royals, Anthony Lotane. From the Tigers, Uli Ellis. From the Twins, Cameron Puda. From the White Sox, Jackson Legro. And from the Exeter Blue Softball, Abby Gullick. From Exeter Green, Julia Jones. Exeter Purple, Gretchen Morris. Exeter Red, Mackenzie Ducharme. The Exeter Panthers, Brittany Conti. Exeter Tide, Laura Breaker. The Exeter Tigers, Kelly Anderson. And the Exeter Wildcats, Jenny Dunn. All right, we have just a few more things and we'll be out of here, okay? I wanted to remind everyone that our baseball and softball apparel store is going to be open until Monday. So if you want to buy something, go ahead and get your orders in before then, because then it's going away. There's a link up on our website for that. We are holding an equipment swap out in the hallway today, so you can stop by the table as you walk out. And if you see something you can use, you're free to take it. Whatever's left over will be donated to the Double Plate Charity, which is run by the owners of Las Olas and will be delivered to needy kids down in Nicaragua. Okay. This year we're going to have, as we have in the past, we're going to have 2 kids come out and throw the first pitch for the season. So if I could have, from the baseball side, Jack Anderson and Connor Floyd. And from the softball side, if I could have Brittany Conti and Megan Frost. All right, when you guys are ready. All right, thank you guys. Thank you. All right, we have just one last thing to do. Get the season started. Could I have Tyler Kenny and Ava Garrity come up here? All right, I want to thank everybody for coming out today. Let's have a great season. Remember, it's all about the kids. And we have field day tomorrow. That's right, we have field day tomorrow starting at noon in Exeter, Newfields, and Brentwood. So we'd like to see you out there. The field's getting ready. Thanks a lot. Have a great year.